Hello gamers and genders, and welcome to The Opera. I have finally done the thing that I've been meaning to do for several years now, which is make an art YouTube channel. So what am I doing here? I've just been looking for a place to share my art and also talk about some things that I'm passionate about, like the CMYK color model, or environmentalism, or gender, or the plot of Sonic Adventure 2. But we will get there when we will get there. For now, I kinda just want to dive into some paintings, so here we go! Okay, so right off the bat, I would like to say that these 4 videos were recorded as an experimental batch to try to get into the swing of recording and editing video and stuff. So the quality of the video itself is kinda booty, it's kinda ass. I know this, but I already have some notes as to how I want to change things for the future, so we are learning, we are growing. But yeah, one of the first things you might notice about my palette setup is that I love color. I love bright colors, I love fun colors, miss me with that earth tone shit. No, that's an exaggeration. I mean, they definitely have their place. Even in a really saturated, cartoony palette like mine, I just wouldn't say that they're my immediate pick. They're not the thing that makes my heart sing, you know? So this palette that I'm using right now is an Art Toolkit Folio palette, and then on the top of the frame you can see that I've also got the Compact palette by Studio of MM. So there's 2 quick ways to my heart when it comes to paint palettes. One is to have a really unique shape, and the other is to be able to hold a ton of colors while staying in a small footprint, and I would say that both of these do that really well. So my general workflow tends to go one of 2 ways. I will either come in with all of the flats first as part of one layer and then come in with a shading layer on top, or if I think that the main body color is going to be too lifting, then I'll do the shading first and then do the main body on top. But either which way, I tend not to do a lot of rendering in my painting process. I don't do a whole lot of wet on wet. You'll see me do some more rendering when I'm doing these red orbs here, but that's the only time that you'll see me do it in this painting. I do it a little bit more in the future ones, but that's spoilers. Something that I have noticed about my art style is that I tend to add more detail during my drawing phase rather than my painting phase, but I'm curious to see if that's something that remains consistent as time goes on. One of the things that I'm interested in tracking with this YouTube channel is seeing how much my art evolves as I make it more consistently and actually record the process as I do it. And I know that I could be posting my art on Twitter or whatever, but I don't need that kind of psychic damage in my life right now. I'm hoping that by posting it in a video format, it's more of a friendly environment and people will want to engage with it in a more conversational kind of way, and not just retweet it and move on. Because it is more so coming from a place of wanting to actually talk about these things that I care about and enjoy. So yeah, some of the things that I plan on making art for include Pokemon, and Sailor Moon, and Sonic, and Undertale, and probably eventually Persona. So if any of those things are interesting to you, I would love it if you'd stick around. Or don't, you are the master of your own destiny. But yeah, I initially came in here with Tundra Pink by Schmincke for my shading layer, but I decided that it wasn't as pink as I wanted it to be, so I do eventually dab in some Holbein Bright Rose to liven it up. Truthfully, I think I meant to put an Opus by Da Vinci, but they're right next to each other on my palette, so I ended up grabbing the wrong one. But I do still really like how it turned out, so I would consider it a happy accident. If there's an option for me to add more color to a piece, I'll probably take it, sometimes to my downfall. But since I added the Bright Rose to the shading layer, I felt like I wanted to incorporate it to the background as well, and I'm really happy with the contrast that it has against the yellow. I do love this color a lot. It's one of my favorite pinks, and it's a pretty unique hue in my opinion. I just wish that the tinting strength was a little higher. This is the first real painting that I've used it in since filling up this palette, and that pan already has a huge dent in it. It makes me scared to keep using it too much because I don't want it to run out. Oh, and another handy thing that I've started doing is putting these swatches on the bottom of my paintings, so I don't forget what colors I used. So here I've got Daniel Smith Hanziola Light, Holbein Bright Rose, Core Magenta, Daniel Smith Quin Coral, Holbein Brilliant Pink, Schmincke Tundra Pink, and Daniel Smith Lunar Black. So I wouldn't say that this painting had an ugly face per se, but I do definitely think that it really started to come together when I started adding the highlights with gouache. Gouache was something that I had been thinking about buying for a couple of years before I finally decided to take the plunge, and I'm so glad that I did. So for all of these white highlights that you're going to see here, I'm using my huge tube of Da Vinci Titanium White. I'm still pretty new to gouache. At the time of recording, I still haven't made a full piece with it, but I'm very much looking forward to learning how to use it. I did sign up for Sarah Burns' gouache subscription box, and I'm so stoked to start learning how to use it properly. She said that there's even going to be a month focused on making an underpainting using Opera. Opera? Needless to say, I think that's going to be right up my alley. So I'm just going to clean up the line art a little bit with a white gel pen, and then here he is, my perfect boy, Ampharos. Thank you so much for sticking around, and please just know that the quality is only going to go up from here, so I would love it if you would like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not your dad, but either way, I hope you have a colorful day.